I was listening to mainline morning talk shows on country and on rock stations just to see what they're doing this morning. And it was utterly mindless Hollywood news, gibbering callers, gibbering host. Much of the public is in a trance and has no idea what's going on. And that just allows the social engineers and criminals to absolutely run wild. And you try to warn one of these dumbed-down Hollywood zombies, people that follow the whole Hollywood thing, you can't even communicate with them. And they think it's bizarre if you're informed. It's like that movie Idiocracy, where if you can string a sentence together, they think you're showing off and have you arrested. Financial terrorism, TSA holds Texas flights hostage. I don't even have words to describe how incredible this is. This is a federal blockade of Texas. The House passed it. The Senate was set to pass it unanimously. They had a unanimous votes lined up. And Homeland-Security sent them a letter and said, we will put a blockade in and not allow any aircraft, period, to fly into the state of Texas. Now that is financial terrorism. That is the essence of who these people are. Take the federal judge last week in New Mexico. He said TSA will now oversee all checkpoints. They will be in the prom, sticking their hands down your pants. It's all meant to be over the top. It's all meant to be in your face. And we have the state rep who authored the bill joining us. He likens it to the Texas fight against Mexican tyranny when this state was founded in 1836. DOJ resorts to economic terrorism. Lawmaker compares fight to Revolutionary War against Mexico. How about against the British? That's what it's really like. An astounding Department of Justice threat to cancel airline flights to and from Texas. And now they got the TSA saying they got jurisdiction for public schools. I mean, folks, this is the National Security Force. In fact, cue that up for the next interview coming up. The Obama clip. We need a domestic security force just as big, just as strong as our military. Remember that? Well, this is bipartisan. That was announced by Ridge under Bush. See, a lot of you love to hate this because you think it's Obama. That's a teleprompter reading nobody. Get that, okay? Doesn't mean I like him. He's a wicked little puppet. An astounding Department of Justice threat to cancel airline flights to and from Texas, in addition to underhanded lobbying by TSA representatives, have killed efforts in the state to pass HB 1937. It's time to call their bluff and then just have Texas, if you want it, secede and say, we're not under federal jurisdiction. We have that right to revolt, and see if they roll federal troops in here over this TSA thing. I mean, it's getting to that point, ladies and gentlemen, when they say, look, we're going to molest your wives and your children and grab women's breasts. In Texas, it's happened, including the state rep who authored this, happened to his children. Or we're going to have a blockade. This is what they did to the Russians trying to bring nukes into Cuba. I mean, a blockade is an act of war under international law. They're now threatening blockades of Texas. And the state rep, who's a senior state rep, he's calling it an act of war. He's joining us in a moment. It is an act of war. They put blockades on people like Saddam Hussein. And there's no federal law they can do this. FBI agents can't stick their hands down your pants. In a letter to Texas lawmakers, including Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst, Speaker Joe Strauss, the House Clerk, and the Secretary of the Senate, U.S. Attorney John E. Murphy threatened to cripple the airline industry in the state if legislatures didn't back down. The details of this federal blockade threatened. That's what started the Civil War, were federal blockades of ports. And so enrolled the Confederate ships to blast the fort. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. I mean, it's on. It's on.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It could never happen in America, but it's happening right now. Gas prices are exploding past the incomes of millions of families. As gas prices and crop failures push high food cost, you can still get the best food on the planet from eFoodsDirect.com. Demand for food is high, but eFoods Direct has plenty of radiation-free food to meet your needs. With our new triple production capacity, you will get the fastest shipments of food in the country to help you get the most food possible. When you order 3 of any qualified pack, you will get the 4th one absolutely free. That's the buy 3, get the 4th free food special. Your immediate order will not only freeze the present low food prices, but also guarantee your food availability. Folks, I'm telling you, it is the smart move to go to eFoods Direct right now and buy 3 of any qualified item and receive the 4th one free. Get the most for your food dollar by calling 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. That's 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Okay, things are getting shuffled around. It looks like we've still got Cynthia McKinney joining us from Tripoli, but it's under heavy imperial bombardment by the globalists right now as they try to get that $1 trillion+ in oil reserves with their al-Qaeda-backed rebels, with the British troops landing and the British attack helicopters getting ready to go in. The new colonialism under the guise of humanitarianism is in full swing. She's coming up towards the end of the transmission. General Hamid Gul is basically stuck in transit right now, but he should be on sometime during the broadcast. And Representative David Simpson, we just talked to him. You know, it's the end of the Texas legislative session. It's crazy. He's on at the start of the next hour, which is when Gul could also do it. So we're trying to reshuffle everything right now, dealing with this incredible report dealing with the threat of the federal blockade. Now, remember, they're now announcing and they're running the operations with federal TSA. In fact, we have that clip where Obama says we need a domestic security force just as big and just as strong. We're going to play that in a moment. And he talks about a 1 million person force domestically for checkpoints on highways, at malls, at Walmarts, at sports stadiums. The TSA a few months ago put out video PSAs showing TSA agents in malls searching people, interspersed with clips from newscasts of TSA in Florida searching people at bus stations, 9,000 Walmarts. Think about this, 9,000 malls, Walmarts, other public places, 840 plus Walmarts in total, but 8,000 plus other locations, putting in giant telescreens in Walmart saying, don't trust your neighbor, watch for terrorists, terrorists are everywhere, only trust your government. That's basically the message that's being sold directly out of 1984. So, here's the article. Federal terrorism. TSA holds Texas flights hostage. Infowars.com. We need to get this article out to everyone. This is so big. DOJ resorts to economic terrorism. Lawmaker compares fight to revolutionary war against Mexico. I'm going to finish the part of the article I read earlier. An astounding Department of Justice threat to cancel airline flights to and from Texas, in addition to underhanded lobbying by TSA representatives, has killed efforts in the state to pass HB 1937, a bill that would have made invasive pat-downs by TSA agents a felony. It's already a felony for a state cop, state police, FBI to stick their hands down your pants without a specific warrant, but they don't care. They're just setting the precedent. HB 1937, a bill that would have made it a criminal act for security personnel to touch a person's private areas without probable cause as a condition of travel or as a condition of entry into a public place, was headed for an imminent Senate vote in Texas, having already passed the House unanimously, 138-0, before the federal government stepped in to nix the legislation. Now remember, a federal judge has ruled the TSA are now the arbiters of all security. You want security at a school prom? TSA must be there, and that's the plan. They will command your local police, your local security. They have the magic wand to not to follow any laws and to grope your genitals, including Congressman Ron Paul has been on having his genitals groped. Former Governor Jesse Ventura, genitals groped. Countless videos of small children with men, women sticking their hands down their pants. This is, again, the Nazis just lined you up and got your papers. Here, they're going further to train you to get in your space. In a letter to Texas lawmakers, including Lieutenant Governor David Duher, Speaker Joe Strauss, the House Clerk, and the Senate Secretary, U.S. Attorney John E. Murphy threatened to cripple the airline industry in the state if legislatures did not back down. If H.R. SIC 1937, couldn't even get the bill number right, the federal government would likely seek an emergency stay of the statute, Murphy wrote. Unless or until such a stay was granted, TSA would likely be required to cancel any flight or series of flights for which it could not ensure the safety of passengers and crew. Good, do it. Show everybody what tyrants you are. Shutting down any flights in or out of Texas. Do it. Bring it out in the open. We're sick of it. Show us who you are. We urge you to consider the ramifications of this bill before casting your vote, Murphy added. To the fact that Murphy can't even get the name of the bill correct is almost as disconcerting as the rampant mafia-like attitude of the DOJ in using a de facto economic terrorism to shoot down the legislation. Following a fiery debate in the Texas House last night, Senate sponsor Dan Patrick, Republican of Houston, pulled the bill, remarking that TSA representatives had been lobbying the Texas Senate in an effort to mothball the legislation. I will pull HB 1937 down, but I will stand for liberty in the state of Texas, Patrick said. Well, that's have your cake and eat it too, buddy. Patrick added the TSA officials, not servants, or of the people, just our officials, our owners, had warned him passing the bill could close down all the airports in Texas, which he regarded as a heavy-handed threat by the federal government. It's a threat of blockade, of war. That's called siege. That's what a blockade is. The staff of Representative David Simpson said the DOJ had thrown down the gauntlet, no kidding, in using such stark language to oppose the bill. Either Texas backs off and continues to let the government employees fondle innocent women, children, and men as a condition of travel, the staff wrote, or the TSA, Transportation Security Administration, has the authority to cancel flights or a series of flights. And it goes on to break down that Texas flights could be shut down because TSA would not be able to ensure the safety of passengers and crew if agents could not touch genitals, someone must make a stand against these atrocities of our government agents.